it's like making it to the big league. Like, you know what I'm saying? When you've been trying for a long time, like all of us been rapping since we was little kids.
Right.
All three of us. So it's like, I guess it's equivalent to how somebody feels when they get drafted. Like, you know what I'm saying? When you get drafted and you work hard and you've practiced and you bust your ass at school and you bust everybody, the competition's ass, and you trained and you trained and you trained and then you got there and it was that era and it was just that time and the land there. It felt like you know, like all the struggles you ever been through. It was for a reason. It paid off, and it was for a reason. And I think it gave us an understanding of who we was. Of who we was.
Right.
Which was probably the same reason why we flipped. Like, you know what I'm saying? Why we had no problem flipping during that era, because we had a sense of we've been through hell and we made it. Once you do that, you know, it's like a workout. Right. Like if you do a hard workout you never did, and you get through it, and it's now like, I know
it's part of your workout.
I could do that. That's part of the shit. I could get here. I could do this. I could travel this far.
Did you feel like you got a sense of validation basically from being signed, or you already, you know, you
back
felt like
then,
you knew
definitely,
that yourself?
that's a validation. You get a sense of validation because you made it. Fuck being signed. Like you made it. You made it to where people who validate the people are interested in you and what you're doing. You may know is perfect. He could have signed anybody at any given time. Right. We had to have something about us that made him want to fuck with us, and we knew what it was. So that gives you the sense of, what we thought we was. Right. We wasn't wrong. Right. We knew this shit wasn't for nothing. Like, you know what I'm saying?
You trusted your instinct, and you was right.
We trusted our instinct, and it worked.
All right, beyond Puff though, how did it feel when you met Big, and he was like,
open arms, greatest. It was the greatest thing. That was one of the greatest feelings ever too, because as an MC, we knew he didn't have to be like that. Right. And most people wouldn't have been like that. Right. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because he's a spitter. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's a lyricist to the T. So most people aren't open armed to other lyricists. It's still that edge of competitive. We all
guarded,
that guarded, like that. And he didn't have that for us. Right. He embraced us like brothers from the jump. Like he showed us brotherhood, and he showed us class early. Like it felt good to go to the studio and say, you know, my homeboy, he's with me. This is my homeboy. Big, his homeboys, and everybody's treating my homeboy like me. Right. Because so I got a sense. We got a sense of family and loyalty and understanding early and seeing what it is. And I respected him a lot because he tried to bring. He was one of the first MCs that brought his hood with him. As far as I'm saying, on that scale, in that era, like to say, all right, I'm bringing a clique. Like a lot of people don't get that credit, but Big really started that shit. Like, you know what I'm saying, with the Junior Mafia. It wasn't people going, all right, I'm this big artist, but boom, here's my crew, and this is what they do. Usually, it's like you got to break in through the crew, like he was trying to integrate. He just smashed it in. He just meshed it and force fed the people it, and we all ate it, because it was dope. But that was a beautiful thing. So just watching Big and seeing him and his work ethic, and he was a funny guy. He was a funny guy.
I heard he had jokes.
His sense of humor was incredible. His jokes was incredible. He was classy. He had utmost consideration. He was just like a class act. He was like a dude you would rarely ever meet, and not just rhyming, just as a man. Like you don't really meet many people like that. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Now it's also a magical time because that's when Jigga was coming up too.
No doubt.
And Jigga at the time, correct me if I'm wrong, when y'all got signed, that's when Jigga was working closely with D-Dot and Daddy. How was that experience, man? Like,
it was crazy because we seen
Jigga wasn't Jay-Z.
Nah, we seen Jigga already through the Jazz-O. So from knowing Jazz-O, so we seen early Jigga before Jigga even made it. I mean, we knew he did the Kane thing and all that, but he had fallen back. But his name was circulating and biting. And as an MC, you hear of MCs and you know who's potent and who's not potent. So we already knew what it was. Like, you know what I'm saying? From hearing his work, hearing shit he was doing when we was with Jazz-O letting us hear shit. That's how Jay-Z got to know of us.
So Jazz-O,
and we got to know of him.
Right.
Jazz-O before anything really got big. So we got to hear some of his shit early, like, you know what I'm saying, as he did with us.
You know, there's so many things I want to talk to you about. One of the things, I mean, that's been legendary is is your classic falling out with Puff.
Yeah.
And this is one thing that I'm glad that you're here, because I never defend Puff, because I know Puff is his grown man, but I know that, the fallout is cats think he's probably one of the grimiest music men
I try to tell
on
people,
the planet. And I'm going to interrupt you. And my thing is, I understand y'all did what y'all did, because I understand, the relationship. But I always point out to cats, particularly on Twitter, that cats don't point fingers at, say, a Jimmy Iovine or Tommy Mottola or whoever.
No.
Walk us through that experience when you signed the contract to when you guys felt that, it was an unfair contract.
Well, see, what people don't understand, we had the standard contract. We had our contract was probably the same as every artist out at that time.
And I've seen the Bad Boy contracts.
Our contract was pretty much, and this is what we try to explain to people. See, you got to understand, we come from LOX really come from working hard and hustlers.
Of course.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So, as a hustler, numbers don't make sense to you.
Right.
You don't care about what it means on paper, because you would have did that anyway, because we need it in the door.
Right.
But it was just saying, it could have been anybody. It could have not even been Puff.
Right.
We would have still flipped, because it's like, yo, dog, if a fucking album costs $10 and this amount of albums sell or do something, then you should get this amount of much money.
Course, that's the bottom line.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's how we always took things. And you got to understand, when you're coming from outside, that's how you view things. Like, this is worth this,
right.
and this is ridiculous.
And did your
Fuck
attorney,
if everybody else is. Our attorney told us it's standard. Our attorney was Londell McMillan at the time.
Okay, did he explain publishing to you?
All that shit.
Okay, so
we just didn't really give a fuck.
You didn't know because you were
like,
so thirsty to get in.
Yeah, it was like we understood.
Right.
Now, I mean, no, we didn't all the way know.
Yeah, nobody
when we
knows
first
what
got
publishing
in.
is when you sign it.
When you first get in, you don't know.
Right.
But when you get a grasp of it, and this is another thing, we were three intelligent young men. None of us are dumb. All of us are very intelligent. Right. I'm not just talking about rapping. Like, we're all intelligent men. Like, you know what I'm saying?
It shows with your business endeavors and the whole nine.
We felt not Puff. I mean, we were signed to him, so we had to take it with him. But we just felt that, like, them contracts are like slavery.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's some shit that should have been in the old school. And we felt most rappers probably don't say something about it because they're used to fronting and upholding an image.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So if I want you to think I'm doing this good and I'm up here and I tell the truth, then I zapped all of that shit out.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? We didn't give a fuck about that.
Right.
We didn't care about none of that. Like, we was trying to really get into this to get rich.
Right.
We know we dope. We want to get rich.
And you made some classic records that made other people rich.
Yeah, this is what we want to do. Right. So, you know, Puff wasn't a bad guy. Like, to be honest, like, you know what I'm saying? It was
he was just doing business as usual.
Because if you notice, after we did that, other people took that formula. Other people start flipping on their labels and start voicing it, because we always gravitated to the people made us, and the power of the people. If you're gonna fight somebody mega and a mega beast and something very strong, you gonna need the power of the people.
Of course.
And so we always felt we was for the people, and that
free the locks. I love that campaign.
We go hard with mixtapes. We'll do what we got to do, keep our name alive and rhyme, and that's just how we felt.
Right.
And I guess it was part. We was ignorant too. Like, we was hood. We was really, really hood. Like, we was like, you know what I'm saying? So certain shit is like, it just ain't gonna fly, because that shit might fly on them dudes, and they might be cool with it, and they might be cool with it. But something ain't gonna.
We're not built for this.
We're not built for that.
Right.
We ain't built for certain shit to be handled a certain way.
And would you say that Puff's probably biggest mistake is that he was just too close to everybody?
I wouldn't say. I don't want to know what his biggest mistake is. To be honest with you, I would want to say if I knew, but I don't really think I honestly even know, because I felt like somebody asked me earlier. It's funny because somebody asked me earlier, what do I think of him and how all the artists who've messed with him.
Oh, the Bad Boy curse.
Bad Boy curse. I said I'm not part of the curse, so I can't really answer that. I think everything is how you handle something and how you represent yourself and what you stand for.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So if you feel like, hey, Styles, I don't like how the fuck you talking to me.
Right.
But you don't want to tell me, yo, Styles, I don't like how the fuck you talking to me. Then that's fucking on you.
That's
at
on
the
you.
end of the day.
Right. If you don't want to speak up, that's on you.
You gotta fight for what you believe in, and you gotta fight for what you feel is in your heart.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? And I think as LOX, we've always been like that. Like, you know what I'm saying?
And I'm glad that, and, you know, moving forward, you guys have maintained a good relationship, because my memory of the Locks is through Bad Boy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that was a classic.
We cool. I told somebody today we still cool, because at the end of the day, I had to be honest and said he did something he didn't have to do,
right,
which was give us our publishing back.
Which these labels would be like, fuck you.
Nobody would have said,
me. Fuck you, pay
fuck
me.
Yeah,
right.
He gave it back to us.
Right.
So I got to salute, tip my hat, and say that was real. Like, we might have went through a lot of shit. We might have had our ups and downs, but at the end of the day, he didn't have to do that. Like, we could have been just negotiating, going back and forth, and he could have just said, all right, I'll strike something better for y'all.
Right. I need 10 more albums from y'all.
Or do this or this percent. He said, fuck it.